let's just all face it. Leandria Johnson, she's a screw up. Or is that what people want you to believe? Let's talk about it. If you're new, my name is Catrice and welcome to Cocktail Hour with Catrice. Honestly, I'm going to share with each and every one of you all that I am pretty much done talking about the church on YouTube. I have invested a lot of years into this and frankly, not sure if it's worth it anymore. But I could not, I've actually been sitting on sharing this and sharing my point of view about this on YouTube because I've been advised to so many times to not share this news. Family, friends, people that I've worked with behind the scenes for my YouTube channel, those who advised me, I've been told to never allow this to see the light of day. As a matter of fact, nobody knows that I'm doing this. But I'm going to share with you all, as a person that struggles with alcoholism myself, I want to share with you all that it's not easy to just admit that there's a problem, to admit that, you're struggling or, hey, I can't live without this thing, right? And I'm going to just share with you, I'm going to take you back in time a little bit to before I got saved. Before I got saved, I was a clubber, major clubber, always hanging out. Of course, when I started going to church, I cut pretty much everything. I started working out at the gym. I was just doing very wholesome things. But before I was saved, I was always in the club and I was always drinking. Always drinking. My drink of choice that I could never touch to this day. And I need you all to understand that, because I've heard some things about when people say, well, if you're an alcoholic, you need to stop drinking altogether. I don't think non-alcoholics should speak about alcoholic things. It's like a person that's not a heroin addict and trying to tell a heroin addict how to get off of heroin. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. So let me just help you all out with that, okay? I need people that have never dealt with the struggle to stay in their non-struggle business. But I was a clubber. And so for me, when I was clubbing, I was drinking. When I started going to church, I stopped drinking. I would have little bits and, things every now and then when I would, sip or whatever, but I really wasn't into it until about I got saved about 2003, 2014. No, I'm lying. I think I started drinking again about 2012 when my father died. My father died December 11, 2012. I think I was already kind of hanging out at that point, but the drinking got progressively worse in 2012. It was manageable, but it wasn't a problem where I couldn't function. And I need you all to understand it. Again, if you've never been through this, you can't talk about it. When my mother died, that is when all hell broke loose for me. I started drinking to the point where I could barely work. I could not get up for work. I did not want to socialize with people. I would shut myself in, isolate. I was extremely depressed. And people would say, well, that's just grief. Everybody grieves differently. And this is what I'm saying. When it comes down to Leandria, I think that people need to understand the why. Maybe people need to ask her, what is the why? Instead of the judgment, you have to get to the root of the problem. And for me, isolation brings about a lot of drinking, right? So that's why in my previous videos on YouTube, people would hear me say, like, I'm getting ready to go, to have dinner. I like social things because if I'm social, and I still might have a drink or two when I'm being social, but I won't do as much as if I'm like home and depressed and isolated. And I could sit at home without drinking. But if I'm home and depressed, anxious, and isolated, that's a recipe for disaster. Also, different times of the year where my mother's death anniversary, that's a really bad time for me to drink. So I'm saying all that to you all, saying all that to say that I hear a lot of people criticizing, oh, she should be, she needs to sit down for a little bit, and maybe she does. You know, she needs to sit down. She should go to rehab. I think she was supposed to do it after her last stint in December. I'll get to that too. I think people need to first ask the question, you know, how did this happen and why? And she may not answer that right away, because a lot of times when it comes down to alcoholism, we don't think that we have a problem. Newsflash, right? When you're in addiction, a lot of times you really don't think that you have a problem until the day that you hit rock bottom. She has to hit rock bottom in order for her to say enough is enough. And let me just share this also with you all, because a lot of people will say, well, if she's going to be in treatment and this and that, and what if she still starts to drink? That is between her and her healthcare provider. I am actively in therapy. I'm in therapy for my alcoholism. I've been in therapy for alcoholism. I was going to do inpatient, so that's another surprise for you guys. I opted out, but for her, she might need to do it. I'm saying all that to say is that you need to know, as a person that's dealing with an addiction, what you can and cannot do. And professionals will say, you know, if you're going to stop drinking, you got to stop drinking, all of it. My healthcare provider says, listen, baby steps on this thing. I know for a fact, listen, I cannot touch vodka. I can't touch it. That for me, the vodka is a symbolism for disaster. And that day, I want to say it was September 2020. This was my rock bottom. So I'm going to just share with you how this looks. I'm going through the pandemic, and I'm working. I'm consistently showing up for work because I'm working at home, like most of us. And I went out with my girlfriend. You know, like I said, I was working consistently, showing up, doing my thing, and then drinking at night. And if I stopped working during the day, I would drink during the day. Or if it was a weekend, I'd drink during the day. I did not think that I had a problem until one Monday morning. I had went out with my girlfriend the night before. She drove, thank God. And she drove, and we went to, I think, P.F. Chang's in Columbia, Maryland. And her friend, her guy friend, brought a friend for me, and then they came and they bought us more drinks. I don't remember how many drinks that I was in. I just know that when I woke up the next morning, that was my rock bottom. Because normally I could get up, I could function for work, I could do all the things, I could run around, I could da-da-da-da. And I just remember saying to myself, I am tired of waking up hungover, but this one is different. This hangover is symbolizing something way more than what I am interested in doing this morning. That was the day that I was like, I need to get help. And I'm a person of action. When I realize it's a problem, I run and I get it. I don't wait, right? And I called my sister. I had a dog at the time. I said, hey, can you come pick up the dog? I need to go into treatment. I have an alcohol problem. Like, I've hit rock bottom. And I just remember not even being able to keep my head up above anything. And my sister came. She took my dog and she said, I'm very proud of you, you know, because she recognized that there was a problem. You know, I had a little cousin, you know, she's getting ready to graduate college. She recognized that I had a problem, right? Everybody recognized that I had a problem except for me. I was the person that could not see my own addiction. And here's the thing. A lot of people are saying whatever about Leandra's team. I don't know these people, right? But sometimes your family and friends, they will enable you because that's what you're used to doing together. It's really not, honestly, and I'm not trying to take up for the team. But let me say this. When you have a special camaraderie relationship with people and you're used to doing certain things, to them, although they might realize, okay, it might be a little bit of an issue over here, you're still used to doing X, Y, and Z with that person. And so it just feels like second nature. It does not feel like enabling. Because I'm not going to lie to you all and say that I don't still drink. I do not touch vodka. I can have tequila. I can have rum. It does nothing for me. I can have wine. Wine really don't do nothing for me, child. But, and I'm not making, it's not a laughing matter, but I'm just letting you all know from a perspective of a person who has been in treatment for 4 years now. This is what the situation is. And a lot of people are just criticizing. She needs to sit down. She needs to do this. The best thing that she can do is give her testimony. You all the people that are being the critics, you all may not like that. You all may think that people are just, booking her and this and that. We don't know what God is going to do and what he needs and who he needs to put her in front of in order for her to get the liberty and the freedom and go for her own level of sobriety. Okay? We don't know that. Only God understands that. And I think that when we start to remove ourselves from the equation and trying to get the shock value from the subscribers, we will understand that this is a personal journey. You're looking at a woman who struggled for years. And I'm talking about, it is now 2025. It has been 11 years. It'll be 11 years in a few days since my mother's been gone. Is it 11 years? Yeah, 11 or something like that. Yeah, 2025 done. It is a daily struggle. I was just at a restaurant with my girlfriend the other day. And we were at the fight. We went to a boxing fight. And I thought to myself, I wonder how it would feel if I had a vodka cranberry. And then I had to remind myself, you're not allowed to have that. It's a daily struggle. And so I think that sometimes because we believe in the power of God and we believe that God is going to do it and we know he has the ability to do it, we think that something is supposed to happen like this. It's not supposed to take a long time. But that's not how God works, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to tell you what he's done for me. What God did for me was a slow process in identifying the problem. How did you get here? How did you start? When did you start drinking? How were you exposed to alcohol? Right? And then when you want to drink, what is your relationship to this alcohol? What does this alcohol signify for you? What does this walk look like for you? Now, what are the steps that you're going to take in order to maintain this level, right? Because there's different levels of sobriety. For me, it was talking to a therapist, right? My first therapist during 2020. And this was at a treatment center, okay? This was a mental health professional, but it was also, we're talking about my drinking. Like, I went to her specifically for alcohol. I said, I am an alcoholic. I have a problem. This has been not a lifelong thing, but long enough where it was a problem. And so she said to me, because she knew I was still drinking at the time, she said, how about this? We're going to put a plan in place. If you're going to drink and you're going to be away from home, I need you to book a hotel. I don't care if it's a low budget, high budget, whatever you got to do, girl, whatever you can afford. We had a plan in place for my levels of sobriety. I never did the 12 steps. I attended meetings, didn't want to do the meetings because first of all, I'm like, I'm that girl, what you talking about, a meeting, girl. But all in all, I did what was best for me. And it's a daily walk, still in therapy, still working through it. A part of my treatment plan is alcohol, is knowing that I have a problem. Knowing that at any moment I could walk into the liquor store and I could say, give me a pint of Ciroc, which is vodka, or give me the pink Whitney. I think that's what it's called. I don't drink it no more, child. Whew. Give me some Pink Whitney and some cranberry juice. I can walk into the store at any time of the day. They don't know that I'm an alcoholic. They're just trying to sell me a product. And in this situation with Leandra, I need you all to understand that, number one, on the church side, she is the product on the church side because she's the performer, the singer, and all of that. But when she walks into that liquor store, whatever drink of choice is her product. That is what she is. That's what she's looking to get. And so she has to learn the restraint. And again, for those of you all who have never been through the struggle, you have to, it's a process that you have to learn. let me give you all a quick testimony. Well, let me say it's a quick, short little story. After I went into the hospital, which they did not keep me. They said, we're going to send you home with some medicine, and then it's up to you. And we're going to give you some resources, which I called and I used. But they said, you got to try to stay away from the alcohol. At the time, I was vodka. And I remember for the first week, because I was so used to, this is during the pandemic, and so there was nothing to do. So I would work during the day, and then I would get in my car about, I think the state was shut down about 8. So about 6:30, maybe 7, I would go to the liquor store. I would come back home. It's like a daily routine, because I couldn't go to a restaurant. So I go to the liquor store. It was also really bad. I would walk into one store, and they would call me by my alcohol name. They would call me Tito's, because at the time I was drinking Tito's. They said, hey, Tito's. They knew me by my alcohol name. Sad but true. So the first week of sobriety of this particular level, I'm sitting in the house, I'm working, and then about 6:30 hits, and just like clockwork, my mind starts going to, where am I going to go to get the alcohol? And it was one or two places I would go to. And I remember getting in my car, and I started circling, because I was so addicted to the routine of going to get the alcohol. But I had to learn, you could just go here and go back home. Meaning go to like a Family Dollar or CVS or something, okay? Pick up a candy bar, come back home. Or pick up a magazine, just throwing some stuff out there, and come back home. You do not need to go to the liquor store today. And I want to tell you all, for almost 2 weeks straight, I went through that struggle of circling around, just trying to get it out of my system, because I was so accustomed to drinking. And during the pandemic, and I'll just give you all like a little bird's eye view as to the level of alcoholism that I was in. From the state shut down on March 15, 2020, from March 15 to I think September something, it was probably mid-September, I had been sober for 5 days. 5. Not 5 days out the month. 5 days from March 15th to the middle of September. I was sober for 5 days. I was drinking every single day. My life revolved around alcohol. I talked about alcohol. I made sure they had my special alcohol. So if it wasn't what is it? Absolute. It was Pink Whitney. If it wasn't Pink Whitney, it was Ciroc. If it wasn't Ciroc, it was something else. I wasn't Tito's, because I got tired of that. I knew what I wanted, and I had to get to the point where I had to stop allowing it to consume me and tell myself, you don't need it today. Also, let me share this with you all, because we don't know if Leandria has dealt with the why yet, or the how, or whatever. I'm going to share also with you all the triggers, because I used to get triggered. Okay, my mother's death anniversary is a really big trigger for me. I told the guy that I'm dating, and my sister, she knows, if I get depressed around March the 10th, I will not leave my house without someone. And let me tell you all why. Let me just share this with you all, because again, y'all think this is easy. Y'all think that Leandria Johnson's walk is easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not. I'm sorry. I wish that I could tell you all that God's just gonna do it. Oh my God, the power of God, the miracle. It's not that simple. It's not. I wish that I could sit here and just proclaim, oh my God, God just did it, baby. I wish I could do it. But when alcohol has a hold on you, and you're used to picking it up, and it start talking to you real good, and start making you feel real good, and you can do anything, you can be anything that you want. Y'all think it's easy. It's not. And I'm opening myself up to you all, because I need you all to understand. I hear so many people talking about, oh, they shouldn't let her do this, they shouldn't let her do that. Let me tell y'all something. I'm so thankful that God's not like that. I'm so thankful that God didn't leave me when I was at my lowest. I'm so thankful that God had to send non-Christian church people, non-church people, my way to help me through this. Because if I was with the church, honey, I would still probably be a mess. Because a lot of my alcoholism came from being separated from my church. Let me talk about the triggers, since y'all think it's easy. I'll use my ex as an example. I was minding my business when I was working, actually. I used to, because I work from home most of the time. So I said, I'm going to go to a restaurant. I'm just going to work, have some lunch or whatever. No alcohol inside, just working. And I open up, so I'm in my email and something popped up. So let me just go to this folder or whatever. And I see a picture of myself with my ex. Trigger. Before I left that restaurant, I had 2 drinks. When I left the restaurant, I don't remember if I went home or straight to my friend's house in Baltimore. I just know I ended up at my friend's house, my older friend. He and I went to grab something to eat, and we had a lot to drink. And I just was knocking the drinks back. I do not know how I got home. I had a dog at the time. My poor dog suffered so much during this period of my alcoholism. I do not know how I got home. The next day I woke up and I was hungover again. Another hangover morning. Could barely lift my head up, could barely open up my eyes. I got a dog looking at me like he got to go outside to walk. I had to put on a hat and some sunglasses just to walk this dog because I was triggered. You never know a person's trigger. And if the person's in therapy, they can work on their triggers with their therapist. That's what the therapist is there to do, is to help you to work on coping skills, triggers, and how did we get here? Okay? I really want you all to understand that it is very easy for us to point the finger at Leandria and to shout to her about the wonderful, magnificent power of God. He gonna do it, girl. He gonna move mountains for you. He gonna take it. He gonna take the taste out your mouth. So let me tell y'all something. As a person who has been struggling with this I'm talking about actively in the struggle since 2014, 11 years of my life gone because of alcoholism. I'm gonna sit here and tell you that the devil's a liar. God works you through the process. Where some people are so churched, excuse me, that they believe that God's just going to take it away. And that's just going to be it. And guess what? For some people, that's possible. But for other people like Leandria and for myself, it is not possible. I have not had alcohol since January 2000 and I want to say it's 2022. Because I had a moment. I had another triggering moment. I had that moment where I was like, okay. Because I have downloaded I Am Sober on my phone at least a dozen times. Okay? Before I really started focusing in on what the problem was. Right? But I got triggered that on the it was around January 20 something, because it was around MLK Day or something. And another picture popped up. Me and actually 2 people I'm not talking to anymore. And I said, oh my God, Jesus. And here's what happened. And let me share this with you all too, since y'all think it's so easy. Let me just say, first of all, thank you to the Lord that he did not take me out. Because somebody needs to hear this testimony. Because some of y'all might be dealing with addictions of other things, porn or whatever. It was, hold on. Again, I've been to treatment. I'm going to be honest with you all. I have prescription medication. You got to work the process, right? So I decided that I was going to, in the packet that they gave me at the hospital, there were several drug treatment centers. Yeah, drug treatment centers. I mean, it's a drug. And so I went, and they gave me 3 medications on my first visit. They gave me something called Antabuse. They gave me naltrexone, and then they gave me, what's the other one? Gabapentin. And they said, the Antabuse, let's go to the naltrexone. The naltrexone is going to help your cravings. So if you're craving alcohol, it's probably going to shift your cravings. Let me just tell y'all, well, I don't want to tell y'all that part. The gabapentin, I was a little nervous about taking that because I was trying to lose weight, and I'm always on the weight loss journey, by the way, okay? So I heard that could put weight on y'all, and that's for anxiety too as well. So I was like, and pain. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. The Antabuse is a very strong drug. The Antabuse, I'm going to get back to my last trigger. Who's ball at 3? The Antabuse, you cannot drink on this drug at all. People have died taking this medicine. You will get terribly sick taking this medicine. This is not a drug that you want to play with. So I said to myself, if I'm really, now I'm trying to work on this weight and everything, this is back in 2022, so I said, if I'm going to work on this weight, girl, I'm going to just take this Antabuse. So I took a pill on that Monday and that Tuesday. I think I doubled up on Tuesday. Thursday, I want to say I did YouTube that day. And I saw a picture. Another trigger. Now I'm thinking in my mind, I am a couple of days removed. I thought it was like the naltrexone, so you could kind of manipulate that a little bit. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. So I said, maybe it's out of my system. I'm just going to run to the bar. That was the night. Well, the next morning was the morning where I said, I am no longer drinking vodka. That was the moment where God was like, you think this is a joke? You think this is a joke? This is not a joke. It's not a joke. So, now you're going to be sick. And I had to catch an Uber home. It was like there was balloons on the side of my eyes, like airbags. Could not see to drive. I was completely impaired. The service around the place was messed up. I had to figure out how to get service so that I could get home with Uber and Lyft. And I did. But that was the night where I was like, get yourself together for real. Get it together for real, Catrice. This is not a joke. And so I'm just, and as I close, because this is almost 30 minutes long, I need you all to give Leandria some grace. Give her the grace that you would want God to allot you or a loved one in your family. Give her the grace that you would want her to give to a child that is struggling with an opioid addiction or even a marijuana addiction. Give her the same grace that you would want someone to give to someone that you love. Stop looking at her just because she is an amazing psalmist and singer, that she's been a pastor, a minister, that she can do no wrong and that she should be ashamed of herself. You should never be ashamed of trying to work on yourself. And if she's not trying to work on herself, let me tell you what's going to happen. God's going to put her in a position where she has no other choice. Because when we know Him, when we know God, He's going to make us understand this right here needs to be worked on. And again, I'm still a work in progress, y'all. I'm not perfect with it. I told y'all every now and then I still have a drink or two. I'm not going to lie about that. But I can never touch vodka again in my life. Can't do it. Vodka brings out the worst in me. I am highly addicted to it. Highly addicted to it. It was almost like a person that talks about having a white girl addiction, where the first time they drank it, it was like euphoric. I could never touch vodka another day in my life. Never. So just remember, y'all give her some grace. I'm not saying baby her. I'm just saying that you have to allow God to work with her throughout the process. And these two situations, public humiliation should be enough for her to say, okay, I have a problem. And this is to her. Girl, work it the way that you need to work it. And do it in your own time, but also on your own levels. Because listen, cold turkey don't work for everybody. It just don't. As a matter of fact, I think it's pretty juvenile to assume that someone's gonna just stop drinking all of a sudden. That's like taking somebody right off of heroin. It's crazy. Because that person's been feeding their body that for so long. You gotta gradually taper it down. It's not an overnight thing. She could, if she's really highly addicted to this drug, then she could go through what they call DTs. That means her body's going to be trembling. She's going to go through, she could actually, if she's really bad off, and this is to any person that's dealing with the alcohol addiction, you can even die from DTs, from what I understand. So y'all got to give her some grace. I'm not saying she's going to be perfect in this. Heck, she may still have a drink or two, and in the future. That is between her healthcare provider, or who her mental health provider is, and God. They cut my nails too short. And God. And for her team, y'all got to give them grace too, because they're used to one Leandria. They're not used to completely sober Leandria, and they have to work through the process as well, right? Because they're all connected, and so that means she has to have a conversation with them. I had to have a conversation with my family and friends. That was very uncomfortable for me, but they understood. I had to tell them I have a drinking problem. And even to this day, if you talk to my sister, she will say she cannot drink vodka. Whatever y'all do, she will look up at somebody. That's accountability, because I had to tell her this alcohol right here makes me, it turns me into someone that I do not like, and then I can't stop. It's almost like I don't feel like I have a filter when I'm drinking it. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm saying to you all gotta allow her to get everything in her life in formation. Everything. Family, friends, her fans and supporters, she's her children, and then get a team of people that she could be accountable to. I'm talking about supportive mental health professional that she could just be 100% real when they say, listen, girl, I talk to my people like they're my girlfriends. Listen, this is what I'm dealing with today. As a matter of fact, when I'm talking about it when I'm going through and I'm talking in therapy, and I realize that I'm feeling some type of way about something, I said, thank God I still don't drink vodka. Thank God I don't drink it no more, because I don't want to go to jail. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know how I'm still sitting here besides the grace of God. Because there was even a night driving back from DC back to Annapolis that I blacked out. And I was driving. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is not an easy road. And, I know that for some people, you all think that you're helping by saying she needs to get it together, she needs to do this, and giving your commentary, and you really think that you are going to get the message through. You really think so. But until she has that walk at Damascus, that meeting at Damascus about this drinking situation, it's never going to change. She has to do this on her own. This is Leandria Johnson's walk. This is not a walk that you all can do for her, because you're giving your commentary, you're giving her your comments. That does not help the process. The process will work when she gets the supportive team and everybody on board, because everybody becomes a part of her treatment plan. My family's a part of my treatment plan. They don't know it, but they are a part of my accountability treatment plan. They know. The guy that I'm seeing, he knows from last year, March the 10th is hard. So listen, babe, if I'm going to go out, I'm not going out without you and my sister or you and my girlfriend. I'm not going out alone, and I'm not driving. Can I be honest? Because I don't want to, it's already a triggering day, so I can't do this. I had to tell him when I first met him. I said, listen, I had this problem. He said, well, guess what? I had a marijuana problem. And then we started to share about our experiences about, sobriety and our addictions and things. That was not an easy thing to do, but we did it. We were able to share the truth. And guess what? He doesn't even know he's a part of my treatment plan. Every day that I walk around here and I'm challenged with something, there'll be days when he'll say to me, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Have you been triggered today? Right? One of my besties, I'll call him on the phone. He'll say, you didn't drink that, did you? They understand. Leandra needs to get everybody on board. Everybody. It's like, if you really love me as much as you say that you do, and the ones that are even taking her money, if you really want to keep this job as much as you say that you want to keep this job, I need you to help me in being a part of my treatment plan and holding me accountable. Because if not, all of this is going to go kaput. And that's just it. Questions, comments, concerns, please leave it down in the comment section. Let me know what you all think. Maybe I will start sharing with you all about my journey. I've been holding on to this for a very long time. And it feels good to finally get it out. Love you guys. Bye.